tried to do a video a few times on our off-grid setup. Not really been happy with the videos, but I'm trying again today. I'll talk you through what everything is, what it does. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them comments below. But otherwise, I'll try not to make it too confusing. So we'll start off with the main, should we say, heart of the system. So that's the battery. So we went for a Roamer Series 4 230 amp hour lithium battery. It was too big to fit in the battery box, so I had to fit it down here. You can see it's, I've secured it all down. It's all built into the system. It's not moving anywhere. And lithium's quite safe to be placed under the sofa without any ventilation, because it doesn't vent off gas in the same way that lead acid does. All the usual bits and pieces when it comes to lithium. So it's got the battery monitoring system built into it. This battery does talk to our Victron system, so it talks it through this lead here, which is connected into the computer. And that will relay all the information regarding the battery, whether its state of charge, its health, if there's any issues, what type of charge it needs, all the bits and pieces like that. Following on from that, we'll go under here. So we've got a T-class fuse. It's a BEP fuse holder, and we've also got a BEP isolation switch, just so that I can shut the system down if I need to ever to. Onto the first lot of blue boxes. So the first one here, this one. So that is a Victron linked shunt. Now what a shunt does is it measures the current coming to and from the battery, and it'll work out exactly how much capacity we've used in the battery. So it gives it in a percentage rather than just relying on the voltage. Now the battery's own BMS does also do this, but I find it's not as accurate as the linked shunt. So I tend to, I prefer to have the shunt just to give a really more accurate reading of exactly what's going on with our state of charge. On to the next box. So the Victron links distributor. So in short, what this is it's something that distributes the 12 volt power out from the battery to the system, and it will also take all the charging from like the solar, and it will then put that back into the battery. In short, it's a bus bar. So, and that's just it's a 1-point connection where a lot of our 12 volt connections are all sort of fed to there nice and neat into one box, rather than sort of stacking them, the points all on top of each other. They're all on separate points. Inside the box it is also all fused, and what you'll see down here is we've got a power light, and then there's these other 4 lights. So what these would do is, if one of the fuses ever blew, they would light up red, and it'll tell me which fuse it has blown. Now there's only space in here for 4. You'll see we're using 2 of them for the inverter, 1 for the roof solar and 1 for our DC power. I needed 5, so what I've done up here is I've fitted an MRBF fuse up here, and this is also then connected to our second solar control, MPPT controller. Leading on to down here with this little box down here, you see it's got DC written on it. So what that is, it's a Blue Sea Safety Hub 150. So in short, it's another kind of bus bar, again all fused. And what I've done is all our small 12 volt electrical stuff, as well as things like the motor movers, the EMP, the satellite dish, everything is all plugged into this one box. All underneath here is the fuses. We've got a mixture of different types of fuses. So we've got blade fuses and we've got MIDI fuses in there, controlling each one separately, and it's then just one single point that goes out to the links distributor down here with the DC down there. Just makes it much easier to put everything into one place, keeping it all safe. After that, we've got down here It's our first MPPT solar charge controller. So this one could, at the moment, controls the roof solar. So at the moment we've got 3 100-watt solar panels on the roof. That will be changing when we get back, and I'll be fitting 2 210-watt bifacial panels on the roof. So there'll be 420 watts going through this one. And to make it so we can also just easily work on the system, I've got an isolation switch here as well. On to the next one. So what we've got here is, so you have to bear with me. So we've got our second solar MPPT controller. So what I've been using this one for is for the ground solar. So I've got a portable 200-watt panel, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be linking up another 215 watts flexible panels on the roof, and they're going to be going to that. So that will give us a total of 650 watts of solar. And then after that, we've got the big main thing to the system, and that is our Multiplus 2. It's a 3000 VA, so about 2500 watts of inverter, as well as a battery charger, and it's all linked to the whole entire caravan, so we can power our air conditioning, all our plug sockets, anything 240 volt. This will power that. It's also a pass-through inverter. So what we've currently got is it's wired in, so the when we plug into the mains, that goes through the inverter and then through there into the consumer unit down here. This has all been completely untouched. This is a standard, as it left the factory, but this is all sort of linked to that. And what it does is it monitors how much amperage we're using, and it knows, I can tell it exactly what amperage our pitch is. So let's say we're on a 10 amp pitch, and we start powering up a load, say the aircon, and then we've got the hot water going, we've got the fridge going, stick a kettle on, we start exceeding the 10 amps. Now, rather than tripping the pitch, what this will do is it will monitor that, and it will know to only take 10 amps from the pitch. And if we exceed that 10 amp, then what it will do is it will then take the 12 volt power from the battery, it will convert it to 240 volt, and it will then give us the additional amps required without us tripping the pitch. So we would have 14, 16 amps on a 10 amp pitch. What it also would do is it's an instant transfer over. So when we were in Spain last week, the whole campsite had a power cut, and one of my neighbours, he came to me, he was really confused. He was asking, have I still got 240 volt power, because his caravan had gone down. I hadn't realised that the whole site had lost power, but our caravan was still getting 240 volt power all through the Multiplus. The telltale sign was that you could hear the air conditioning on the outside. It was only when I looked up on the screen that I noticed that we were getting nothing from the grid. So, and then the last blue box down here. So that's moving the gimbal. So there we go. So that's the Serbo GX. So what this is a small computer. So everything you see here, from the battery to the inverters to the shunts to also the MPPT controllers, it's all plugged into this, and you'll see all these connections all down here, and essentially everything talks to that box, and it relays that information to a screen, which is the Touch 50 up here. And so it just gives everything regarding the system. So we can see, if I click on overview, you'll be able to see at the moment we're pulling 1,350 odd watts from the grid. About 1,100 of that is our AC loads, and then we've also got 174 watts of being put charge into the battery, and then another 40 odd watts to the DC load. pulling in a little tiny bit from the solar as well, but we are under a bunch of trees at the moment, so it's, most of the panels are shielded. On here we can control everything with regards to our levels. So we've got our gas levels, so we've got sensors put on the gas bottles, so this tells us exactly how much we've got left in our bottles. We've also got temperature sensors dotted throughout the caravan, so the fridge, the freezer, the lounge, the bedroom, so we can see exactly what's going on in relation to the caravan. It gives us notifications of exactly what's going on. The highest cell voltage just means that's when the battery is fully charged up to 100%. And this then just gives us a brief view of exactly everything what's going on with the system. And then what we can also do is we've got Wi-Fi connectivity, so I can log in to the system remotely anywhere in the world through either my phone or through my iPad, and I can see instantly exactly what state the charge is of the battery, and I can also turn on and off the inverter and remotely sort of control any other little bits and pieces that we've got set on built into the system. So I think that's everything. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask.